Hello and welcome to Beyond the Bio. This week I am talking to Athena Todd, who is an AI expert. She knows so much about AI, it's impressive. With over 16 years of cross-cultural expertise, Athena has become a trusted advisor for esteemed organisations worldwide. She blends Eastern and Western perspectives, providing clarity and strategic insights that have increased companies' return on investment by 50%. As the co-founder of Launch Lab Academy since 2018, Athena has trained over 1,000 new coaches globally by integrating AI-powered marketing strategies that save 60% of their time. Athena has won all sorts of awards and had recognition in a number of publications also, including the 2024 Who's Who in America. Athena's journey as an expat entrepreneur showcases her ability to surpass limited resources and create a personal brand that attracts rare opportunities. She is committed to guiding expat entrepreneurs and startups, inspiring them to turn the impossible into the possible. I'm really keen to explore AI in more detail and how it can actually be useful, because my own experiences of AI are not great, if I'm honest, because whenever I've asked it to do something, it just spits out the same old words at me. It feels a bit clunky. It doesn't sound like me. And I normally just get really annoyed with it and switch it off. So my own experience hasn't been great, but I know lots of people that love it. And I want to be able to save time when I use it too. So awesome to have Athena on the show to chat to us all about things AI and how it relates to personal branding. Welcome to Beyond the Bio, Athena Todd. It's awesome to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Sophie.
You're very welcome. So we are talking about AI-powered personal branding, which is very modern, very topical, very cool. And first of all, how is AI transforming the personal branding landscape? What are you seeing?
Well, I have to say, though, this is kind of the myth that I am seeing. Well, it actually is coming from our students. A lot of time, because AI is such a new trend of doing business, so people have this perceptions. I could just learn the AI tool and have them just do everything for me. I don't have to show up anymore. And that is unfortunately not the case. So that's why people are worried about, well, what about this Terminator? It's going to terminate the human. Yeah, AI is going to take over. That is why I never really seen this is happening. It's always there is a human behind everything we do, including the personal branding side of it. So personal branding is still going to be a base of who you are, your value, and what you are different than everybody else in the market. And that foundation is still there. The AI is just the tool to speed things up. So the human no longer need to do any mundane work, the tedious work, like the work that you probably have your personal assistants doing for you. Now we can ask the AI to do it for us. That's what the AI is, as far as personal branding concerned. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that's the biggest misconception then, isn't it? That people think that AI will just replace everybody and it will do all the things. So what are some popular AI tools that individuals can use to enhance their personal brand? Like, what should we all be using and how should we be using them?
So I would say it depends. Since I'm focused on the business that are just starting up, because this is where most of the people are not able to push it forward to their business because they don't even know how to stand up in the market. So that's why 97% of business fail in the first 5 years, because they don't even know how to get themselves out there. So that's why when I focus on providing the tools, there's a gazillion tools out there right now. People will know, like, they don't know what to choose from. So for us, my job as a coach advisor is I go out there and try all the tools, and I bring it back to the tools that is currently should be for our startup business, small business to use. So as we know, the first step of the implementation is you have to be able to use the tool. Otherwise, you just got buried in the overwhelm. So that's one of the things that we have noticed from our students. So we pick and choose the AI tool for them to use, divide by 3 categories. The first category will be the text base. As most of us already know, ChatGPT is one of them. Claude is another type. ChatGPT tend to be kind of like do what you say. If you don't give a good prompt, it just gives you the same crap if you don't know how to prompt it properly. And Claude is another type of text form of AI has a little bit more of a brain in a way. If you're not providing too good of a prompt, is still able to generate a creative ideas. So we're giving our students are two different types. It's not one as good as the other because everything's all have some flaws. So you just need to know, okay, so if ChatGPT is not giving me the ideas that I want or the answer that I want, then I'll try the different tools. So those are the two go-to tools I have provided for our students to use. And then most of our students also have English as their second language. So I will help them embedded the extension to help them. One of the last thing you want to do is worry about your grammar, right? Or not be able to provide a good enough context for the chat GPT to really understand what you're asking. So that's why we help our students to embed the extension into the chat GPT. So when they are ready to generate a prompt or ask the question, the chat GPT, that embedded grammar corrections, it will fix everything else before they submit the question to the ChatGPT. So that is the text part of the ChatGPT that we're helping. And of course, there are other AI tools that's related to creating image. Because as we know, just because we tell people what we do, but people got to see some visual. So we have to be able to translate the copy we provide for a marketing copy into visual. So which is we'll be using some of the graphics. I would say I use a lot of Canva because they already have embedded quite a bit of AI into one application. So you can it's kind of like you go into supermarket shopping. You got a lot of things in store. That is kind of why we're using Canva, is because there's quite a bit of AI application already embedded in Canva. So you could just call out the tool that you want. So that is one of the for image.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know Canva had AI. I don't really use it. I know of it and I know what it is, but I don't have a great eye for graphics. So I always let someone else in the team do all of that. So that's interesting that it has it. So in terms of things like, just thinking about personal branding and thinking about the kinds of things that you might create. So, for example, blogs, social media posts, videos, that kind of thing. How can AI work in a really great way, in the way that you described, where it's saving time rather than replacing the human? Because one of the things that I see if I ever use ChatGPT is, to me, it feels really clunky, whatever it throws out, and it gives me words where I go, ChatGPT. So if I see someone's post on LinkedIn and it has words like unleash or fosters, trying to think what else, but some of these words, and I just go ChatGPT, and I just find it a bit cringe. So how do you avoid that? How can you use it in a way that is less cringe? Or is that possible?
So to me, though, part of the personal branding is all about we know about ourselves. What are the words I will use? So I will first write a draft. The copy is coming from me, original from Athena. And I take the draft that I have, I ask ChatGPT to polish for me, not replacing me. So that is a difference between how people, I don't know, I have seen other people just take, okay, this is what I want, create it for me. And that's when you will see those kind of unleash something, or, those type of verbiage, because ChatGPT doesn't have the base, because ChatGPT is what you train it to be. So you got to give ChatGPT something to use as a base, and then will generate the material that you want. So that is kind of how I can see it, just more reverse engineered. I provided the draft, ChatGPT polish, not ChatGPT to do it, created a draft, and I polish. That's not how I use it.
So people are using it the wrong way around.
Yeah, a little bit of
I
a
see.
reverse.
That's interesting. And I guess linked to that, how can individuals ensure that their posts, for example, on social media, that are enhanced or using ChatGPT in some way, how do they ensure that they have that authenticity still about them, that it still feels like them rather than the program?
Yes. Well, actually, that's funny that you're saying this, because I usually on the weekend, I will be doing my weekly social media posts. So a lot of time, just before ChatGPT come into the market, I have been producing some social media posts in the past. So a lot of time I will repurpose my old social media post that was before ChatGPT. So I will be grabbing those content as a base, and I will have the ChatGPT repurpose it. So that is still my original content. I could turn into the content, say it's a short social media post. I say, hey, turn into this content into a thought provoking quote.
Okay. So is that the kind of prompt that you're giving ChatGPT then? You're saying, here's some content, turn it into a thought-provoking post or a blog or
Yes,
right.
always starting from us so that we can ensure there's no terminator. That
That
would
makes
terminate.
more sense. That makes more sense. So you're saving the time around kind of finessing the piece of work rather than the other way around.
I mean, we all, if we're in business, we all have to start producing some of the original content to begin with. You
Definitely.
know, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, So that's why I don't want to give people the wrong perception. You don't have to work ever again. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's fair, and I think that makes more sense. I feel like now I want to go and try it out in a different way because whenever I've gone into it and I've said, write me an amazing viral LinkedIn post about X, Y, and Z, and then I come back with the Fosters and Unleashers, and I'm just like, oh, it just doesn't understand me. It's terrible. Yeah, not cool, not cool. But maybe I'll try it the other way around now. Actually, that will be fun and see what that brings up. So, just thinking about the ethics around using these sorts of tools, what ethical considerations should be taken into account when someone is using AI for personal branding?
So this is kind of funny. I was actually in Tony Robbins' Business Mastery last year. And this is kind of the one of the things they have talked about because AI are still so new and using in the business. Because last year, a lot of businesses are still playing with the tools. And this year, it's all about how do we integrate all the tools so we can starting to integrate it to the point it become a lead generation funnel for us, sales conversion, and how do we increase this productivity. So that is the agenda for this year. And then another part of that is also the logistic of like how this going to be regulated. So you are absolutely right. So if we're talking about AI as a kid, it's of course it's growing. It's kind of like a teenager. It's quite dangerous. Just trying everything out, and that's what everybody is doing. Is they just tried everything out. I think once it become certain area become a big issue, and then there will be a regulation. Just like I don't know about in UK, but in US, the bank are trying to keep people's money inside the bank. But now since there's a crypto, there's digital currency and all that, there is a massive amount of money are moving out. So it's the same thing. Is that's why the government are trying to regulate this particular side of it, just to make sure the system doesn't just collapse because the digital are become so developed. So yes, there will be some regulation coming in the future. But to me, just like I have seen a lot of people are writing the books and just have, the AI just write everything. Of course, there is also a tool, AI tool that you can screen the content. You can tell this is 80% AI or is it 20% AI? So to me, if you have the original content, 50 to 60%, and the rest of them are AI polished, that is still considered your origin story or whatever your original content. But if you have ChatGPT or AI write 80% of it and then only 20% of your original idea, of course, that would be, to me, is out of ethics.
So that goes back to what you were saying before around you give it the original content and use it to polish it rather than what most people do, I think, which is the other way around.
That's how you're able to spot it easily, just like what you said.
Got it. Got it. So thinking about the future with AI, what are some emerging trends that you think we're going to see that will have a significant impact on personal branding in the next few years? Have you got any inside info?
Yes. As you can see, what we're talking right now, this is the trend it's going. Ever since COVID, happened, a lot of people learn to move from offline to online. So you'll start seeing a lot of micro influencer to become corporations go to, like you and I, because they don't need to have gazillion followers for the corporation want to talk to you and I, because they know how to use the smaller brand to reach out to bigger audience, because right now the corporation brandings are decreasing when personal branding is on the rise. So the corporation know the best partnership are with the micro influencer. They have 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 followers, and those are the people are going to be rising in this future market. And that's why you see a lot of collaboration, podcast, summit, speaking on stage. Everybody is on each other's stages. So this is the easiest way to start to collaborate. And then even within our community, we already, because a lot of us are using AI for our business, we already start seeing, okay, my area is using personal branding with the AI. I have another partnership are using AI to train a chatbot for the customer supported side of it. So we partner up together, we become a powerhouse. You start seeing a lot of people are starting to learn to collaborate, because this is where the future is. No longer just individual.
So we're going to see more bigger businesses realizing the impact and influence of these micro influencers, people that have got something to say, smaller but more engaged audiences, and then also collaborations really coming into their own, because there's no barriers anymore around collaborations. So interesting. Well, I can totally get on board with that. That sounds awesome. So, how would you say AI has influenced your personal brand, and what tools or strategies have you found most effective for you?
So I gotta say though, I mean, just like trying everything, you have a certain time period that is, oh, you thought it was so cool. Not gonna lie, I have in the very beginning, I thought I can just clone Athena since I am in charge the operation for the business. I was like, there's no freaking time to create a social media video and things like that. So how about cloning Athena? So I was originally starting using HiGen. So HiGen is actually really good tools if you are recording your course. So say somebody's a course creator or coaches, they want to create, somebody produce the course for them. Those would be a good tools to use to create the course, not using your own image. Originally, I thought it would be, okay, I'll be using my own image and then to create a course. However, if you're kind of like me, I'm a very animated person. And this, at least in this current stage of the tools, the AI tool is not able to handle a big movement. So you can tell by the video, it's not produced clearly. And then also, if I started to move around, and then you can see my eyes start going to some weird direction. But if I'm start being still, and then you can tell it's AI. So I would say that personally, what I'm seeing, since the AI has become so into people's life, and then how human want to respond to anything that posts on social media is really authenticity. It's actually become a reverse. People want to see your raw video, because if they see the human flaws, kind of like you can see me stumble through certain words, then you're talking to a human. Because nowadays it's not about how much the person know, it's the experience we give it to our audience.
Cool. There's just so much, isn't there, with this AI? It absolutely blows my mind. What advice would you give to anyone listening who's skeptical about integrating AI into their personal branding efforts?
So we know before the landline phone being transferred into the cell phone, we all had to go through that stage. I mean, this is kind of something we are not able to say, okay, the world is using it, but I'm going to just stay in the old way. And this is kind of how people become ancient if they're not trying to become a part of the game. Just like, I don't know about you, I don't use a landline anymore. I used to, but I did go through the phase from a landline to cell phone, and then completely get a landline or fax machine. People was like, fax machine.
Oh gosh, fax machine? Is that still a thing?
I mean, if you ask Gen Z, it's probably, huh? What is that? So it's to me, it's just kind of how the human technology evolve. We're all gonna have to evolve learning. To me, AI is kind of like now you and I are communicate with human. We're using English as a language to communicate. So the AI technology is really to learn how to communicate with AI. So it's like we're learning how to speak AI needs. This is a new language that we're learning. And that's exactly it, is how we communicate with the machine. That's how we're able to dominate in the market in the future. Doesn't matter if you're an employee or running a business.
So the advice then that seems to be coming through loud and clear is it's here to stay. It's going to continue to get better and there's going to be more of it. So if you're not involved, you need to get involved and get on the train and start using it and making sure that you use it in the right way to maintain that authenticity and make sure that it's polishing things rather than doing it for you. And then that's how you're going to make the best of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. For sure. Get on the train.
Get on the train. Love it. Awesome. This is so interesting. I feel like I need to report back to all my colleagues because I've got a couple of colleagues that really love ChatGPT, but yeah, I'm still a bit undecided, but I think it's because I'm using it in the wrong way, in the opposite way. So actually, next time I write a LinkedIn post, I'm going to pop it through the system and see what it brings back, because that will be quite interesting, and see what I get back now that I've had some advice from the expert.
We're learning.
Yeah, I will try. I do like to try these things and get on board, so I'll definitely have a go. Thanks so much for joining us today, Athena. It's been interesting to get your insights into what we should be doing and how we should be using things. And also you've mentioned a few different programs there that I've not heard of before, so a couple for us to go away and have a bit of a look at. If someone's listening and they want to make contact with you, where's the best place for them to find you?
I would say, since we are going to have the AI-powered personal branding for a webinar coming up, so I would encourage your listener if they would want to dive in a little bit deeper, because of course we're on podcast. I can't really show you the tools, right? Because I think the best way is through demonstration. So if your audience would like to know more about how to actually using this particular part into their business or even in the job or whatever, because sometimes that's kind of how people stand out from the market, just email me. The easiest way to remember, because I know we're on a podcast. My email would be findme@athenatodd.com.
Awesome.
Easiest way to remember.
Easy. And we'll pop a link for your email into the show notes as well, and probably for your LinkedIn profile. Is that what
that
best
works.
One? We'll put both of those in the show notes just to make it super easy for anyone to pick up with you afterwards.
Sure. Just
Thank
say
you.
in the subject line, just say AI webinars, then I know it's coming from you.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for listening. If you're serious about growing your profile, take our free profile assessment quiz to see where you're at right now and get hints and tips on how to improve your score. You'll find the link to the quiz in the show notes. If you've enjoyed the episode, it would be mint if you'd subscribe, like, and leave a review. See you next Monday.